What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sowdev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you, and we have some tea to get into. But before we get into this tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else. Now, if you could not tell by the title, we have some Fifth Harmony tea that we have to discuss, and I feel several sorts of ways about it, and so does social media. So let's break it down, right? So, touch my headphones, and these motherfuckers instantly came on. Like, damn, about to blow my head off. Anyway, okay. So, Fifth Harmony had once had rumors out there that they were reuniting in some form or fashion, and that was quickly shot down. I mean, this was it a couple months ago? I believe, I believe it was. And like I said, it was shut down so fast. There was no room for it to breathe. So here we are, the end of May, and word gets out that Fifth Harmony is in talks to potentially do a reunion tour and film a documentary of their journey getting back to the stage and of the tour. Now, social media. I the instant reaction, I saw so many people excited. So many people excited about Fifth Harmony coming back. I mean, I saw so many people who had once ignored the idea of Fifth Harmony coming back, but they just had so much excitement and joy in their energy. So that was really nice to see. I mean, Fifth Harmony's been going viral every other day, it seems. And it's been a consistent thing. It's not like, oh, it's just starting to happen now. And over the course of the last decade, that has just been their tea. I mean, y'all know, y'all don't get no sleep because of y'all. Don't get no sleep because of me. Like, they went viral with that, and it helped push Worth it a bit. And Fifth Harmonies, they've just been the viral girlies, to be honest. So, this is interesting to me. Like I said, I appreciated the positive reaction that came with it, but also came some um people who were not so thrilled about it, because in their head, right? Oh, Fifth Harmony's having this reunion. Oh, Fifth Harmony's getting back together. Obviously this means they must be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 albums. Like, there's no room for any solo stuff or blah blah blah, none of that. Like, you know what I mean? Their solo careers is just over. Baby, breathe in your nose, out your mouth, relax. I promise it's going to be okay. They are not getting back together to record several albums, have this massive era. No, that's not tea. The reality is that they are coming up upon a 10-year anniversary of a song that is diamond eligible, which is Work From Home. 10 years of 727, and Fifth Harmony has always been their fans first. And they see these viral things, they're on social media. So, here, before I move forward, here is my opinion on it, right? Like, what I think in regards to if it's true or not. I don't know. It's being pushed. And here's what I will say, right? And everybody's making the joke about, oh, Ali did this, Ali, blah, 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 blah. But what if the reality of it is that this kind of has been Ali's little plan? And what if they denied it at that time so quick because it was just an idea? And Allie had to clarify, and I don't know. Look, I really don't know. But again, here's what I'll say: they've had plenty of time to get their representatives to deny it. It's been a couple days. If it were not true, and like the Hollywood Reporter said, they could not reach representatives for anybody and will decline to comment. Why would you decline to comment rather than just saying, nah? And why would all the other girls representatives? Because the girls, they're getting blown up on social media. Everybody, even C, they know that this is out there. So why wouldn't their representatives get word out that this isn't tea? As fast as the last one was shot down, this one is still just in the air. Nothing confirmed at all. This could be true, this couldn't be true. Do I personally think that it is? The longer that they take to deny it, the more I begin to believe it's real. Because like I said at the beginning of this podcast, they shut that last one down so fast, no room to breathe. You saw it, it was out there, did it. And I looked at Will's story. If you don't know who Will is, he's now Allie Brooks' husband. He posted a Fifth Harmony song, Sugar Mama, with a picture of them after they got married. And it was just the timing, you declined to comment, but you posted a wedding picture knowing that you already declined to comment and that this came out. And then you posted that song. So something tells me that this is real. And I don't know. I don't begin to believe things too quickly when it comes to this. Like, I always entertain the idea of it because how exciting. But this is one of those things where, ooh, it seems legit. And what do I think about them going on this tour? I mean, wonderful. Look, and people keep bringing up this whole idea, oh, we're talking about recession indicators. This is really one of them. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, this is all funny and jokes in the realm of social media, but do we step outside and touch the grass and look around at what's going on in our country? Life is getting expensive for everybody. Okay? And they're not these girls that are walking around with several millions in their pocket, like just chilling. Like, they're not in a position where they really kind of get to escape some impact. So, ha ha ha, recession jokes, funny, whatever. But girl, shit's expensive. So even if it were the case of them coming back together because of, for one, celebrating with the fans, but for two, it's also going to pay me this time around, right? Who cares? They spent how long building this platform that I know Fifth Harmony didn't make anything from Fifth Harmony itself, but do you know how much money these people at the top have made off of them? How much money they'd actually have if they were paid their fair share while in that group, especially during 727 era? Are you kidding me? They would be way more well off than you probably think. I'm telling you, people are making money off of those streams. I mean, they have billions of streams, dude. It's crazy. And when you talk about billions of streams, you'd be like, oh, they have billions of streams here on this platform, but that's just one platform. They have billions on several platforms. These people are really eating off of them and have been consistently. I don't care. But, girl, look. Fifth Harmony is, it's something that can only work with them coming back together if they have control. They have to have complete control. And you're going to run into some label things, obviously, right? But, I mean, they did report that this was aside from Epic Records, which points to the idea that maybe there won't be new music, but also at the same time, they have ownership of the brand, and things are a bit different now to where they can take those old songs and maybe just simply release them, or rework them, or even maybe re-record them. Who knows? Maybe, I mean, if it's just them four, maybe they take some of those deluxe songs from that last album, rework those, re-record those, put those out, go on a tour. A lot of those songs that are unreleased, we already know. And Fifth Harmony didn't get to really end for us. They just ended, right? Because they announced that hiatus, and then they did a little tour, but that tour didn't really go anywhere. They didn't tour the US for their last album. They had like a final goodbye concert, where everything began, full circle type moment, but no US tour. And I think that was devastating for people who were fans, because if you wanted to see the Fifth Harmony by Fifth Harmony, written by Fifth Harmony era, you had to go out of your way to find some sort of festival where they were booked to even see these things. I'm lucky that I was at Good Morning America when Down premiered. Otherwise, I would have never seen any of those new songs. It's insane. So I feel like, what a way to really celebrate it. Plus, for one, right? Let's say they do go on this tour. Again, like I said before, they're going to be making money. That's where they made their money, touring. They're on the road all the time. So this is nothing new to them. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, solo career is over." Blah, 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 blah. No, it's just not. Just because they go on tour as Fifth Harmony, and what a beautiful time to invest in a tour where all of these girls can go on a tour together, but it can also highlight them individually. Have a Fifth Harmony set. Have a solo girl individual set. The perfect time to do that. Because while you celebrate Fifth Harmony, you can also take your songs on the road where it would just be, especially now, that much more expensive. It makes sense. I know a lot of people may not like that, but it genuinely does make sense. I mean, this whole time, and here's what I don't understand. Because for example, Normani's album came out last year in July. It's May. We've been sitting, waiting. There's been nothing, like nothing is going on. That tour is like the first news that nation has heard for real, since that album has come out. You're sitting around waiting for nothing that's going on, just hoping one day that you might hear some sort of news that something is going on. Well, you got something now. Like, oh no, this isn't supposed to be. Well, you wasn't getting anything anyway. Well, girl, I'm gonna take it. It's crazy, y'all. The news was just. I was so ecstatic when I heard about it, because I'm like, you wanna? Yes. And I've talked about it on previous Keeping Up with Fifth Harmony podcast, or even Normani podcast. I was like, you wanna know what? Like, at this point, it's not that y'all aren't quote unquote doing anything, but like things really aren't moving for everybody. And you really worked and earned that platform that Fifth Harmony has, and it continues to go viral. And like, this is something that can prop you up. It can give you all a bigger platform for your creative endeavors. It's such a creative commitment, like, to do this, but also not have to commit to coming back and creating these new songs. You already have God knows how many, again, that you have access to and can rework. Even if you don't re-record those songs, Well, honestly, re-recording those songs might actually, because they can record them now, re-record them now, it might actually give them more control. They may be able to do that outside of um the label and stuff like that. I don't know the specifics of that, but that's just what I'm kind of thinking, because I do remember Ali, saying things like re-recording it because people are re-recording these songs to really gain back ownership, and they can do that now, like Ali said. Um, but I here's another thing on the side of that, right? Because when we're talking about re-recording songs, we have to factor in the fact that yeah, there's a whole album with just them four and songs that they didn't put on that album that was supposed to be on a deluxe that never truly came. I mean, I Need Better With You Quickly, right? That's a bop. But again, you have that album with just them four, but you have two prior albums with a fifth member. So you gotta figure out, well, how does that work? How does she return? Does she return? Right? Would she want to? And here's what I'm going to say with her energy right now. And she has four albums out, right? So going back to Fifth Harmony in the space that it is reported that they're going to go back to Fifth Harmony, it doesn't again bind them to some commitment to everybody getting into studio, we're creating music that we don't like. It's just kind of a different approach. If they do end up re-recording it, it's like bringing life to this kind of nostalgic moment for them and for us that we've never really gotten to experience with them, without them again having to commit to everything that they would have to if they were doing another Reflection 727 or whatever era. I'm just saying, but here's also another thing that people are not considering when they hear, oh, Camila is not returning. Camila does not have ownership of the brand. The option was there. However, she chose to go on a different path, and that was her choice. That's fine. That's whatever. But people who seem to have a problem and want to shade Fifth Harmony and the girls and, thought all these negative tweets because she's not a part of that, that was her decision. Who are you actually really mad at? Well, I'm just saying. Look, if she was magically coming back, fine. I'm not mad at it. What I don't like is her fans, because they show you every single day that they haven't changed a bit. And again, unfortunately, I do place some blame on her because she never truly checked them at the end of the day. It was very light, general, cute messages, blah, 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 stuff like that. But like, there was never really any sharp line drawn. And I feel like that created space for a lot more hate to fester. And it's just kind of built over the years in her fandom. And of course, she's not always going to see that because she's going to be on the receiving end of love from those people, while those people go to another artist and spread hate. And I don't like that shit. No, ma'am. Bye. But, like I said, I wouldn't mind if she did come back, but obviously she's not. And that's also fine with me, because if a girl group ends up having a member leave, how often is it that this girl group reunites and that member comes back? Because when Destiny's Child steps on the stage, well, I mean, I'm not seeing, you know? So what's the tea? Why we acting brand new? All of a sudden it's different for them just because it's Fifth Harmony? And now the girl's got to be dragged because she's not coming back and she's not, an owner of the brand? What if legally the brand ownership was only them four? Therefore, her not being part of the brand ownership makes that brand bleed into Epic Records ownership of the group. That's just a thought, right? There are several things to consider. And it's not always black and white. But of course, a simple minded bitch is going to be like, oh, they're going out without Fifth Harmony, without Camila? Well, Camila already had a solo career. Girl, look, we can say a lot of things about Camila's career and the way that Roger handled it and the way that they introduced her into the world and how forced that was. You have your opinions. I have mine. They were selling that album for a pack of socks. It is what it is. $3.50 to get that album to number one. They did everything that they could. They had Havana in a playlist, and that playlist they just playlisted and just kept listing it in different playlisting, kind of just like fishing to try to get a hit, because she released those two songs at the same time to really kind of see which one was really going to do what it was going to do. So they found one, and then they invested in it, and over time it really built in streams. And these radio stations look at the playlisting, and when a song goes up in the playlist, when it goes up in the streams, and then they're clicking on these songs to play on their radio stations, and it gets to a bigger platform, and then you have several different factors that go into why a song becomes a hit. These songs aren't just like, oh, release, oh, it magically became a hit. There's a machine behind the thing. So it's just kind of interesting to me. Look, because there's no shade with it. I'm off the girl's neck. I really am. But I feel like the way that she was introduced ended up turning people off. And it almost felt like it was over before it started. And right after she saw that instant mainstream success from the album, things started to decline consistently on a regular basis, especially as truth came to light about her past. So you can say whatever you want to about her talent, right? Or what she saw at what seems at that time to have been the peak of her career. Will she outpeak it? I don't know. We'll see. You have your opinion. I have mine. I truly don't know if she'll see that same mainstream success. But that success was also fueled by the fact that she was still releasing albums on the same label as a girl group, which is messy as hell. You leave a girl group and you sign a solo contract on the same label. That being in part to how Epic Records kind of trapped them. You owe X amount of albums, whether you're in a group or solo. So if this group decides to split, you're still in a contract. You know what I mean? So, girl, I'm just saying, where the sales have ended up, she's neck and neck with Normani. No shade. The numbers, the sales, the consistency, she right there with Normani. So it's always interesting to hear people say, well, this person had the bigger solo, or whatever the case may have been. Normani still went neck and neck with her. And look at them. So there's really no point to even try to compare. Because the way that I see it, well, damn, look what Fifth Harmony produced. That's what I see. I don't even really think about their sales because I don't really have to. Like, I look at the response to the people, like people who aren't overly invested in an artist to where they can't give somebody tens. Because I listened to her last album. I wasn't a super fan of the album, but there were a couple songs where I was like, this is cute. The song with Lil Nas X, I really enjoyed that. The I Love It song, I didn't like it at first, but it did grow on me. You know what I mean? Like, there are some songs, you do have to give people tens. Like, I totally do understand her past and whatnot. But like, look, I ain't fuck with her for a long time, a very long time. It wasn't until it came to a point to where Normani was so clearly healing, forgiving, and moving on from that in the situation itself, and began rebuilding her friendship with her. And when I saw that their friendship had been rebuilt to a point where they're freely just talking to each other, like her and Normani are texting each other and things like that, I was like, okay, you want to know what? if Normani can move past that, bitch, I can too. And I could never forget, right? Like, I'm not somebody who's, oh, I'm a fan, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly may play one or two of her songs every like 3 to 4 months. It's true. I'll probably play them for about 2 to 3 weeks. It'll be either the two songs from her new album or that song Find You Again with Mark Ronson, because I actually thought that was a good song. And I've always said that I love her tone on that song. The way that she utilizes her voice on that song, fantastic. Because a lot of the complaints I have is how she vocally approaches a song, just because I don't feel like it always fits her. It always sounds like the song would be better off for somebody else. Like, no shade, but that that's just tea, okay? So I'm really not um on her neck. I'm really not. That's the truth. Because I've spent a lot of years like actively avoiding her in her music, just because going through that process, like as a fan, it was actually insane. Because even if you had defended Normani during that time, you were getting lashings too. So it felt like a very intense time. I thought Normani was going to end up leaving the group. It was very scary. But, you know, I feel like it has been a nice journey seeing their friendship also evolve. And I feel like if that had never healed, Fifth Harmony would not have ever healed. Because there are a lot of things people could say about Fifth Harmony, but I think the center of Fifth Harmony, yeah, all of these people, industry people got in the way of it, but at the center of it, there was a lot of hurt. There was a lot of hurt within friendship. Like, you know what I mean? There just was. There were a lot of moments where you can tell that they were hurt by other people's action. And it's a very humanizing moment to realize that, like, damn, like, because when you hear, oh, so and so just left, or whatever, like, you hear the news, you don't see their reaction to it. But also seeing it online, it also kind of, in a way, makes you disassociate from the humanized impact of that. And you hear things like they went to therapy and stuff like that. It was like, whoa, like a genuine moment of, are y'all okay? Because there was really no time for any of them to just, like, it seemed like they had no time to just pick up the pieces, or consider a process and all that stuff. I mean, I constantly remember the fact that they went to the AMAs, but they also shot this photo shoot for, it was for Billboard, and they were dressed in the New Year's Eve outfits, but they also did the New Year's Eve performance, and I'm pretty sure they did that all in one day because their hair is all the same. So it's kind of like, whoa. I have a total different perspective on how the group ended and how she left than I did at that time. Because it wasn't that I didn't understand why Camila ended up leaving the group. I get it. You have to be able to have that autonomy to gain ownership in your life. Like, I don't know. I get it though. What I didn't get was how it was done. And that's always going to be it. It's not going to be the fact that she left. It's going to be how she did. And the girls are past it. That's totally fine, right? But I think it's always going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. But I also respect the fact that we've seen so much of Fifth Harmony's journey. I don't think a lot of people realize it just because they're solo now and they're apart, but We've watched them not know each other. We've watched them randomly come together, randomly become a group, randomly place top three in this TV show where most people probably would not become celebrities. We watched them get their first hit together. We watched them glow up. We watched them on their first tour. We watched them on a reality TV show. Like, we watched every step of their career, and they go on hiatus. We watched them go solo. We watched their relationships almost disintegrate for a while, and then we watched them reconnect. We watched them reunite. We've watched so many aspects of Fifth Harmony, and we still do, even without them being a group. And it's such a different appreciation for the situation. Like, it's like, oh wow, like there was a moment of time where Dinah and Armani were at the same party and we ain't seen not a near picture. They probably said hi to each other and then went on about their business. I don't know what the tea was at that time, but they clearly did not have as close of a relationship as they did in a group. And then later on down the road, we kind of see them have this reconnection. And a beautiful thing. It has really been. And I'm always an OT5 person. OT4, like, it has my heart because the blend just between those four is absolutely insane. We know Camila has some trouble blending. That is not a drag. That is not shade. It's just tea. That's why a lot of people felt when she split off that she was better off as solo. They were better off as the four. I think that they shined in different ways when that truly happened. But and I tell people all the time because people are like, X and X left the group first, but someone leaving the group first doesn't determine the fact that they are the biggest or the most successful. But also, again, I don't necessarily look at that. But I mean, you can't really deny that Camila has seen some success. I mean, I didn't think that she wouldn't. The girl is talented. She is a performer. That's not news to me. But it's also interesting to see my journey, even with Camila. Because now I'm just kind of like, okay, like I can tweet her name out. I can tweet C because that's all I called her in Fifth Harmony. I didn't even call her Camila. I called her C. And after she left the group, I was like, oh no, like can't even say her name. Like this girl, Lord Voldemort, right now. She who must not be named. But I'm back to a point to where I can at least say C. So snaps and claps for that. But with that really being said, it's just kind of like the fans really kind of take all of that success that she has seen and they kind of use it to drag other members in the group, and it's just kind of like, girl, okay, that's totally fine. I don't really care anymore about what they do or where they go. I just want to hear the music. I spent so much time in Fifth Harmony for one, doing all the streams, requesting all the raises, like going all in, doing all of that stand stuff, and just like that exhausted me. And then the beginning of being a fan of Normani and standing doing the same thing until she really slowed down after 2019, and I started to calm down with it in 2020, and by the time 2021 came, I wasn't really up, but I was able to do a little something. But no, that that era is over. I just want to hear the music. I don't care where it goes, what it does, how many streams. I want it all for you. I don't know that they all want to do what it would take for that to happen. And that's a big thing to highlight because look, there are some people who are like, you want to know what? I just want to sing, dance, and perform. And, this kind of sound and presentation is laid out for them to kind of take. And kind of make their own, and they'll become a thing if they do. But some people don't want that thing. They want to make their own thing, and their own thing isn't what the label has presented or wants. Therefore, now you're just kind of a tax write off, but maybe we might invest in you a little bit, because if they don't sign you, guess what? Huh? They're going to end up losing money because they got to spend X amount of money to get tax write offs. So, like, uh, they don't want to have to pay taxes, essentially. So they just sign people, sign people, sign people to spend money, throw a million at them. They got to spend $11 million, whatever. If you've seen a video of one of the A&Rs actually breaking this down, it's kind of a gag. I knew a lot of the tea, but he really went into detail, and I was just kind of like, dang, it's just such a nasty place, this industry. And you know, Fifth Harmony finding a creative way, possibly around Epic, could also be quite epic. I don't know how that's gonna go, what's gonna happen, but I do hope that this is real. I hope that the girls decide to step out on this tour and tour their own music. It gives them a whole year. Like, if Fifth Harmony is going to go on tour next year, Ali, your album needs to be out by December. Dinah, by December. Lauren's album is about to drop. Normani already has an album out. I don't know if she's moved on to album number 2. Like, I don't know what the tea is, but now, you know what I mean? It puts them all in an opportunity to really have some music to be released. So that would be quite interesting, because look, these days artists are going on tour. I went to Beyonce's tour and it was like 3 hours. I'm not joking. It was a little over 3 hours for the concert. So a lot of concerts that I've been going to, they've just been quite long. And I'm totally okay with that. You don't have to shorten the set list or whatever, girl. Like, fit those Fifth Harmony songs in there, the key ones, some new ones that hopefully will be re-recorded, or unreleased ones that'll be released, and add in a couple solo songs. Like, I'm so serious, girl. Go all the way in. I'm serious. That's what I would like to see. But I'm curious, what would you like to see from a Fifth Harmony reunion? Would you like to see a Fifth Harmony reunion at all? Interesting. Anywho, that's really all I have for today, though, guys. I mean, I think we've chatted up Fifth Harmony enough. You know what I mean? I miss those girls, and I need them to come back to me. But if they don't, I'm totally okay with that. I'll just be sitting around waiting for the 20th reunion. We'll see. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the That's So Dev podcast, where you stay true and you stay you. I appreciate you. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else. We kind of popping over there. Did I say YouTube? I hope I did. Anyway, girl, thank you guys. Drink some water, eat some good food, and I will see you on the next podcast. Peace.